I tried out 19 eyeshadow palettes this year that launched in 2023, and I can't even hold the rest of them. There's just so many. So I'm gonna go ahead and rate them. Now, I love all of these eyeshadow palettes, but there's gotta be a first, there's gotta be a last, so let's go through my ratings. Coming in at number 19 is the Natasha Denona Mini Trial Chrome Palette. Now, I do like Natasha Denona's formula, so this blended out beautifully. However, it just lacked. Online, it looked beautiful, but in person, it just looked very dull. Like, it even looks more vibrant on camera now than it does in person. I'm just not impressed or want to reach for it when I like see it in person. But again, like, it did blend out beautifully, but it's just not my favorite. Coming in at number 18 is the Laura Lee Los Angeles and Lunar Beauty Full Fantasy Collection. Now, I love both Lunar Beauty and Laura Lee Los Angeles. I love their stuff, and I do love this eyeshadow palette. My whole thing is that we just see so much neutrals from them. I just wish that like there was something more to it, but I also know that this is them. This palette is them combined. It's representing them. So I get it in that way, but for me, it just felt repetitive. Coming in at number 17, we have another Lunar Beauty palette. This is the Siren Sunset palette. Now, this is a pretty palette, but it is kind of like a neutral siren mermaid type of palette. Yes, you do have your pops of color, and it's kind of more like, I don't know, grungy, I guess I would describe it as. It is absolutely gorgeous. Like, the shimmers are so pretty, and I do love this palette, but out of all the ones I've tried that launched this year, this one was just not at the top of my list. Coming in at number 16 was the Anastasia Beverly Hills Fall Romance palette. I was very excited to get this. It is very fall-like. I don't really have any issues with it, although it's just not one that like I've gravitated towards much. I've used it once. I really haven't dove into it again, but it is really pretty and blends out really nicely, and I do enjoy it and love that it is fall themed. Coming in at number 15, we have the Jeffree Star Cosmetics Gothic Beach palette. This is what it looks like. I do like the middle row. I think the middle row is really nice. The rest are neutrals. I know a lot of people were like, I don't understand how this is a gothic palette, but it's Jeffree's take on it. You know, it's his palette. So, but I'm a collector of his eyeshadow palettes. I think that his formula is great. So that's why I do have it in my collection. But it was not one of my favorites from him this year. Number 14, we have the Meredith Duxbury palette with Morphe, and this is the big one. This is what it looks like here. It blends out great. I do like Morphe's eyeshadow formula. I think it's great for beginners. But, you know, I just see this palette like time and time again with Morphe in the way of their color story. Now, I do think that Meredith picked out some great colors for her palette. And it did blend out nice, and I created such a beautiful look with it. I just see it all the time with all the Morphe. Like, I have tons of Morphe palettes. I'm sure I can find another one that looks just like this. So it's just kind of repetitive to me, but I do love the packaging. The packaging is beautiful. Number 13 is the baby version of the Morphe palette. This is so pretty if you want a neutral look. It's very quick and easy. You have everything right there, and you've got these big shimmers. Now, this palette, the reason I love it so much, this shade right here is such a beautiful highlighter shade. When I use this palette, I use this as my highlighter all over my face, and it is gorgeous. Number 12, we have the Ofra and Ally Dawson collaboration. This is the Falling in Love eyeshadow palette. It is gorgeous. It is so beautiful. The eyeshadow is blended out wonderfully. I mean, you could create a whole look with this whole palette. It's adorable. It's good for travel because it's so compact, but it's like the perfect fall palette. I mean, those are like the perfect fall tones. When you look at this, it just screams fall, pumpkin patch. So I really do love this palette. Number 11 is the Tarte Maneater Nightfall palette. It is so pretty. So I've never really cared for like Tarte, Too Faced, Urban Decay, like their eyeshadows all that much. I just don't feel like they're kind of just lackluster. Like, I just don't gravitate towards them. But the one that they created last year, the Midnight, I think it was that one, or After Dark, something like that. And then this one, they are absolutely gorgeous. Like, and the shimmers are so beautiful. I think they did a wonderful job with these. Number 10, we have the Juvia's Place Afro Galactic eyeshadow palette. Oh my god, so pretty. If you have not tried Juvia's Place eyeshadow palettes, you need to. They are gorgeous. They blend out wonderful, and like the shimmers are so pretty. Like this one right here, I think is a duochrome. Actually, a couple of them are. and they are just so gorgeous at an affordable price. Number 9, we do have the Scorpio palette by Jeffree Star. Now, this palette, I didn't really know how I was gonna feel about it, but I just think that the color story is gorgeous and goes along with like the sunsetty vibe theme that his packaging is. I think his packaging is so pretty. I truly love this. I love playing around with this, and I cannot wait to create more looks with it. It is gorgeous. Number 8, we have the Jeffree Star Cosmetics Cotton Candy palette. Oh my gosh, like this is so pretty. I love this color story, so gorgeous. I get like spring vibes from this, spring and summer, and just fair because of the cotton candy, I guess. But the packaging, the colors, everything, beautiful. Number 7, we have the Juvia's Place Culture 2 palette. Such a beautiful palette. Oh my gosh, again, you need to try these shadows if you have not. They are so beautiful. And I have Culture 1 as well, and that's on my list of palettes that I have not tried that have been sitting in my collection, which shame on me. But yes, I truly love this palette, and that's why it's in one of my top 10 palettes. Number 6, we have the Glamlight Scooby-Doo palette. When this first launched, I did not pick it up. I was like, I don't really like how the packaging is. I don't like the spacing of the shadows and all that stuff. And I feel like I just have a bunch of these same colors on other palettes. But then I went ahead and just bought it. I was like, somebody's telling me to buy it. And I did, and I love it. It is so gorgeous. I mean, I love Scooby-Doo anyway. So, I mean, it was perfect. And they put the colors perfectly for each of them. But yes, like I love this palette so much. Number 5, we have the Blend Bunny Cosmetics Sickly Sweet palette. Oh, I had such a fun time creating a look with this palette. Like, it is like pastel grungy, and I know that came out for Halloween, and a lot of people were like, how is this Halloween? I was able to create a beautiful like pastel grungy Halloween look with it. Oh, it is so pretty. I'm a sucker for pastels in these colors, like the mint colors and the yellows. Oh, so gorgeous. Number 4, we have the Nightmare on Elm Street collection. This is the Never Sleep Again palette, and this is the red version. So I did obviously try that today. That's what my eye look is going on right now. I do think that the reds, like this color and this color, picked up more pink, but reds are just kind of difficult to work with in general. But I wanted to rate this high because I am a horror movie lover, especially slasher movies. Love them. So like this is a top because these launches from Glamlight were like the ones that I was like dying to get my hands on. This is the only ones that like super excited me and I had to like grab it ASAP, was these collections. So then number 3 is the Freddy Krueger one. This is the green one. Oh, these tones are so pretty, and I think I created such a beautiful green eye look with it. So that is number 3. Coming up on our last 2, number 2 is the Friday the 13th eyeshadow palette. I love Jason Voorhees. Like that was one of the first slasher movies that I got into. I mean, I was afraid of them at first when I was really little, but then that was like the first one that I actually started getting into. And I think that they pulled off the color story so well. It's like that grungy, swampy, like lake type of vibe, and I truly love it. And they did such a great job with the packaging. I love that they put it in like this VH set because that is so nostalgic for me because I used to watch them on the VHS tapes. So love this. And coming in at number 1 is the Glamlight Ghostface palette. Now, is this color story like my absolute favorite, like my go-to? I love color. So not necessarily, but the reason why it's number 1 is, again, these launches were the only launches that hyped me up so much this year. They were the ones that I had to have and be on right at that time. I haven't felt that way in a long time about a launch, but these I was all over because I am a Ghostface girl. Probably one of my favorites would be definitely Ghostface, Friday the 13th, Halloween. Those are all my favorites. So like I was so happy to get my hands on this, and I actually got the whole collection in this one. This was out of all 3, this was the only one that I got the full one on, and it's I love it so much. So that is why this one is rated at number 1. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you've tried out these palettes as well and what your thoughts were.